Hello, everybody, and a warm welcome to this episode of Turnkey Trimmings. This is episode number 7, and in the studio with me today, I have David. How are you, David?
I'm absolutely fabulous. Thank you very much for asking.
Good. You're looking chipper for a Monday.
I'm feeling sore and laughing hurts.
Oh,
That's a conversation for another time.
yeah. Okay, we won't get into that. On this episode, though, we are going to get into a little bit of our network, I suppose, is the best way of describing it. At Contractors Direct, we specialize in connecting our clients with the most appropriate contractors for their fit out and renovation. But that's actually quite a large topic, I suppose, when it comes to that. We focus on that. We've got the project management side of the business with project people as well. But it goes a lot further than that. And so on today's episode, we thought we'd have a chat about our partner network.
Yeah.
And the different companies that we work with alongside for the different areas of the entire journey, I suppose, is the best way of positioning it. And you're going to tell us a little bit about that. So
Can't wait.
let's
Super excited.
like do it. David. Good. Let's get into it. So let's start at the beginning. Well, actually, you tell me which would be the beginning, because obviously we need a bit of real estate, either residential or commercial. You might not be able to purchase that without finance help. Where do we start in this, and who can we refer people to, I suppose, when it comes to that?
Good question. I think it would probably be useful if we gave a little bit of context then. So when we first built Contractors Direct, the idea was, as you said, it was to give homeowners and business owners the opportunity to connect with pre-vetted and checked contractors that were specific to their project type. We built the platform and it was, thank God, tremendously successful. But we were pretty much limited to just online. And then we sat down at the end of 2023 and we were like, right, how do we now make this high value product or service available to people that are not just shopping on Google and Facebook and Instagram? And we came up with a couple of ideas. Some were great, some were not so great. I think someone at some point said a blimp. I don't know who that was. Definitely wasn't me.
That was going to be costly, that one. So
that was costly. Although the route that we took was also costly, but hugely beneficial. So we settled on a white label. And for anybody listening that doesn't know what a white label is, basically it's all of the technology, know-how, everything that we built in the Contractors Direct platform, but we essentially strip out our logo, our branding, our font, our color scheme, and we give other companies, complementing businesses, the opportunity to fully brand it their own. And when we did our market research, we were trying to identify who are the best people to partner with this. So we spoke to free zones, we spoke to real estate brokers, we spoke to mortgage brokers, and everybody wanted to jump on the bandwagon. So it was like, right, okay, we got product market fit as far as Contractors Direct is concerned, product market fit as far as white label partners is concerned, and then it was building it. But it's built, we got the partners on board, and now we're rocking and rolling.
Indeed. Took a bit of time to get there.
Yeah.
The investment associated with that, but we're in a good position now.
Yeah.
To sort of go out there, and we've been talking, and we've got a few people. Like I said, a lot of people were interested who wanted to be quite, I won't say picky, but specific about who we partnered with from that side of things. So let's talk about a couple of our partners. Let's start with real estate.
Yeah.
Usually, with what we do, you're going to either need an office space, a retail space, a villa, an apartment, some sort of property that needs fit out or renovation. And so we looked around and we tried to pick out those that would work really well with us, who were enthusiastic about what we were able to provide, and were really keen to feed back to us, because we had ideas about how this should work and but obviously we don't have that necessary industry knowledge from the other side. So from a real estate perspective, we wanted to find a really good partner, and we found an excellent one in Exclusive Links.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit more about that in terms of how did that work? What is it that they can do? Where do they fit into the entire timeline when it comes to the fit out and renovation side of things?
Yeah. So James and Louise were tremendously generous with their time, enthusiasm, advice, information, because that really helped us understand where this fits and what the value is to them as a business, but also their clients as well. So Exclusive Links typically deal with kind of like mid to high end residential. They do other things, but that's kind of like their forte. That's the sandbox that they play in. And it was important for us that we aligned ourselves with other brands that I suppose mimicked or had the same values as us, which was, customer service, high value, quality, etc. And Exclusive Links ticked all those boxes. So when we were having a look at how can this add value to Exclusive Links, the company and the brand, but also to their clients, and it's one of two ways. You go to Exclusive Links either because you have a property to sell, and if you have a standard property, so let's say it's a Springs villa, and you want to put it on the market for 4 million dirhams, unrenovated, untouched, Mark 1, we'll say. That property, if it was renovated, would be worth kind of between 5.2 to 5.5. So that there is scope for the new acquirer or the new purchaser to make money if there was a flipper. But actually, people are missing the opportunity to maximize the sale price of their own real estate. And so if Exclusive Links was able to have a chat with the landlords that wanted to list their properties through them, there was an opportunity for those landlords to renovate their property for not a lot of money. We did a Springs villa 3-4 months ago, and transformed the entire of the inside for just under 400,000 dirhams. In that scenario, if the owner of the property, it was worth 4 million untouched,
Yeah.
they put another 400,000 in, and is now worth 5.5. That is a fantastic return on investment, and your property stands out, makes it more desirable. Someone can move straight in and they haven't got to change a thing. Now, if you don't have the cash for that, you can release money out of the property anyway. So as long as obviously there is equity, you could just apply for to release some of the equity. If it was 400,000 dirhams, the process takes around about 2 weeks. It's relatively straightforward. You now have the cash to renovate. You then settle that when the property sells. So that's for the landlords. If you are buying a property, similar thing would happen. So Exclusive Links would say to the incoming purchaser, "Hey, we've got this property for 4 million. It's basic, but for 400,000 dirhams and 3 or 4 months worth of time, you can renovate it, make it exactly how you want it, and you've now got massive upside. So you're going to be sat on a property that's worth 5.5, for argument's sake." And the beautiful thing is that we deliberately wanted to make it low touch and low hassle. So it's very, very, very high value, but low hassle. So when we built the platform for Exclusive Links, of course, we brought over the logo, the font set, the color scheme, etc., etc. For all intents and purposes, it looks like it is an Exclusive Links product. You put in the property criteria, you click search, we show who you should be speaking to. It's very easy, and then our team steps in and takes over. So for them, it's a high value add. If you think about it, there's an opportunity for them to, this is Exclusive Links now, the opportunity to sell a property for a much higher amount. And if they're taking a small percentage of the sale value, the revenue should go up. So that was kind of the value that we were bringing to Exclusive Links.
Yeah, absolutely. And a really interesting scenario to see unfold when it comes to that, especially from that medium to high end residential side of things, because there's by Dubai standards, a lot of old villas.
Oh yeah,
like 20 years old.
very tired.
They're looking.
They look more tired than me.
Yeah, and that takes some doing. So
Yeah, thanks, Baz.
but there is a huge opportunity there, and maybe it's not something that's is the forefront of people's minds when they're thinking about it. It's like, well, actually, I'll just get rid of it, and then somebody else's problem, they can deal with all of that. But releasing equity in their properties is also something that leads nicely into our next partner, because a lot of people, when they're considering the renovation side of their property, it's like, well, I've got a budget. We've talked about this on other podcast episodes as well. A lot of the time, that budget is not necessarily reasonable.
Yeah.
I suppose is the best way.
Realistic.
It's realistic. It's not enough for what the expectations or the wish list actually looks like.
Yeah.
And that's often a criteria to say, well, okay, I can't do it. But with that in mind, again, we went out into the market and looked for those kind of partners that could maybe help with that side of things, because people do have this wish list. They do have the wherewithal to go after these kind of things, but the budget's holding them back. Now, whether it's releasing equity or the initial mortgage to purchase one of these things, you're going to go out to the market and look for help. as we did, we went out there and we identified our second partner in
Yeah.
this, which was Holo.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about that Holo in it itself, but also how the mechanism works from our side of things with them.
Yeah. So if you think about where Holo sit, so if you or I wanted to go and buy a property, most brokers, quite rightly so, won't let you go and view the property until you have a pre-approval from a mortgage company. So then once you learn that, you then need to go and get that pre-approval. You do a quick Google search, you'll see Holo and a couple of others pop up. You then have to go through the whole process. Again, it's not that lengthy. It's usually about 2 weeks before you get your pre-approval, but then you can go and purchase, or at least put an offer in, ready to purchase.
And just before you go on that, I will say that I can personally vouch for it because I've just gone through that entire process with them.
Was it 2 weeks?
It was just under 2 weeks, actually. And I have to say, and this, again, it's going to sound like this was paid for. It was seamless. It was brilliant in terms of the amount of contact there was, how to do it, what I needed to get together, the follow-ups on WhatsApp. They've got the dashboard. Everything worked really, really well. So it's
Oh, nice.
seamless process. And I got the pre-approval, and now we're looking for that property. So
Fantastic.
It works.
Emerald Hills, yeah?
yeah.
Yeah.
I wish.
Ow. Don't make me laugh, not yes. Okay, good. Well, you're living proof.
Yeah.
So with Holo, it's quite unique because they help the mortgage applicant find a property. So a lot of brokers around buy, they will notify Holo and say, hey, here's all the stock that we have that is listed with us that we can sell. And then Holo, as they do the mortgage applications, they say, for example, okay, Barry, so we've approved you for X. You've told me that you're looking in this area. We have 5 properties available now with different brokers. Would you like me to do an introduction? And then, they will introduce you. You go meet them. So they've got the mortgage and the real estate portion, taken care of. But again, with that particular scenario, if you're selling a home, you're probably going to be moving somewhere else. You probably will need a mortgage pre-approval. But there's also an opportunity to maximize the sale price. So if you have a property that you're listing and it was listed with Holo, a property for sale, and it was listed with Holo, Holo are now in a position where they can say, hey, Mr. Client, you're sat on, I'll use the example earlier, you're sat on a 4 million dirham Springs villa with a small renovation or modest renovation. This could be worth 5.5 million. And based on the information that's available to me now, you could release that out of your property. It's an extra 1,500-2,000 dirhams a month for the length that the loan is live. But if you do that, you're now going to be making $1 million extra on the back end. Now, I don't know about you, but I would definitely take that. Like £200,000. So you've got that side of things. But I think what is also cool about Holo and mortgage brokers is if you, let's stick with that example actually. If you've got 2 million to put down, so you've bought and sold a couple over the last 5 years. If you've got 2 million to put down on a 4 million house, you don't have to put the full 2 million down. You could actually, go right the way up to 80% LTV, and then you've got the cash ready for the renovation. Now, one thing that we are working with these guys on is, can we purchase a property, do the renovation, achieve the new valuation, and then remortgage again? I can't remember where we are with that.
Coming soon.
Okay. Because that is really cool.
Yeah.
That is really cool because your cash is only out in the property for a short window of time. And then the remortgage on the new valuation allows you to get that cash back out. And now you're in a house that you actually want to be in, or an apartment that you want to be in. It's yours. You chose that floor. You chose that kitchen.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Definitely. And I think that we're in a position now also from the commercial side of things to help with that as well. So rather than being CapEx heavy, you can keep that, grow the business and release some equity or finance the commercial build as well, which is really cool because, again, from our perspective, what we want to do as Contractors Direct is to be able to have people come to us and know where we need to point them, and knowing that wherever we point them, they're going to a trusted partner that's going to be able to deliver on whatever it is that they've said they can do, which is where Holo exclusive links come into their own from that side of things. And I suppose that then moves us into the commercial side of things as well. As Contractors Direct, we have traditionally been commercial heavy in a lot of our fit out and renovation projects. We do now a lot of residential as well. But when it came to the business side of things, we again went out to market, look for a specific kind of partner. And we ended up having a great conversation and seeing how we fit very well together with the guys over at CreativeZone. So they focus predominantly, obviously, on the business formation side of things.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit more about that.
So CreativeZone are one of I guess, the veteran company formation. They've been around for as long as I've been in Dubai, I think. So that's a long time. It's a long time. Show my age now. And they're just great people. They were probably one of the first. In fact, they did set up the company first time around in 2009, I think it was, or 2010. We had a Vajera license. We kept that going for I guess the first 3 years before we then had to come to the DMCC. But what I loved about them, it's a very complex, daunting process setting up a business, because it's not a case of, I certainly wasn't back then, just filling out an online form and then you get your certificate. That's I guess the first stage of 10 stages. You need insurances, you need visas, you then need office space. There's PRO, there's so much stuff which has the potential to be daunting. And what CreativeZone does very well is, okay, David, my name's Angela. I'm your main point of contact. I will take care of absolutely everything for you. What I need for this stage is this, this, and this. So you send it, gets you to the next stage, calls you. I now need this, this, and this. Takes you to the next stage. Meanwhile, you don't even have to worry about visiting any of the government entities or AMA or any of those other places. It's all done for you. It's a breeze. And I've seen them grow tremendously over the last 12 years. I don't even know how much office space they have. They must have close to 100 employees now.
Yeah.
All taking care of various parts of, whether it's renewals, new trade licenses, and they represent almost every single, free zone. So they will give you the right advice at the front end. Say, I'm a consultant. Okay, well, these are your 4 options. This is the one that we recommend most because it's got the most flexibility, the best, blah, 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 whatever it is. So you get that advice that you just don't get online, So when we targeted, or when we started developing the white label, we had the residential side of things covered, if you like. We had the residential real estate. We then had the residential mortgages. Then it was, okay, this is now going to be quite heavily weighted towards residential. How do we bring back the commercial so that it's... And CreativeZone, I'm not sure what their 2025 numbers will be, but, they issue thousands of trade licenses every year. They set up companies all over the UAE. So we approached them. We said, hey, look, if we build this, would you use it? And, we laid out what the benefits were to them as a company, to their tenants or, their clients that would eventually need office space. And again, it was a resounding yes. Yes, build it. We will use it. And then a couple of months ago, we were in the office and what we talked about 12 months ago got built and now it's launched. But the cool thing about each one of the partners is we give them the opportunity to go to market with a genuinely unique product. Twofold. The first is that they are the first in their industry segment to go to market with this platform. Second, they have a USP. So, for example, with CreativeZone, if CreativeZone refers a client to us for an office, restaurant, retail shop, warehouse, whatever it is, if they source the contractor through the platform, we will give that client a 1% cashback on the total project value up to a maximum limit, obviously. Yeah. Which is great because 9 times out of 10, that covers more than the cost of the trade license and a couple of other bits and bobs that they would need. Which is a really, really nice selling point because when CreativeZone is trying to differentiate themselves from the competition, often the client will then just boil it down to price. Oh, well, I can't separate you guys. Yes, you say you've got better customer service, but these guys are 500 dirhams cheaper.
I'll go with them.
Yeah, exactly. And so now by having this USP where it's physical, cash, if you like, that can turn out to be quite a decent chunk of money. It just, I think, helps them get that client over the line.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's like an extension of their service. And as you mentioned, they've got multiple services under their headline banner, and it just allows them to offer that extra bit because usually, if you're of a certain size, if you're issuing or creating your business, you're probably going to need an office. And that's where we can take from that side of things. But I think one of the common threads through all of our partners is this idea of expertise, and also that whether it's finding your house, whether it's getting your mortgage, whether it's financing it or opening your business, here in the UAE, that can be quite a intrepid journey, and having somebody to hold your hand through that and get you to where you need to go. And as you outlined in that process, just saying, just give me this now, just give me this, just give me this now. It removes a huge headache. And again, it's a massive evolution from when I first came to the UAE, again, a long time ago, and how you had to do it all yourself.
Yeah.
And the wasted hours and trips to various different
days, not hours, Barry.
Yeah, true. Days. Have I got all the documents? Yes, I have. And come back the next day. Oh, you don't have that document. You told me yesterday I had all the documents. And and just taking that away, especially in this age of digitization and everybody wants it right now, it makes a huge, huge, huge difference. So those white label partners were chosen very specifically by us, and working very well together. And under all of that, we also then had another bright idea that came along out of the Contractors Direct archives, as it were, which is about how to help communities. Most people that are living here will live in a community, and a lot of the residential fit-out work happens in one or a number of these communities. And we realized that over time, and why Contractors Direct exists, is there's a lot of contractors that will say they can do certain things, but can't.
Overpromise and underdeliver, Baz. That's what you're looking for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why we exist, to try and avoid or help people avoid those headaches of going to those people again, because on paper they look cheaper, it's like a better deal, they look like they're quite competent, but how do you actually know if you're just going by the results that show up in Google? Contractors Direct in there to help you understand which is the most appropriate contractor for that. And with a view to sort of protecting, I suppose, the community as a whole, the Community Champions program came out. So tell us a bit about that.
So who came up with the idea?
I think it was Jason, our director of partnership.
Okay.
Something in and amongst us. Very good at getting out there and mingling.
Social butterfly.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So this was actually a stroke of genius, because when we were allocating the marketing spend, so what are we spending where? What's the likely results? A portion of that originally was attributed to advertising within certain developments through developers, and that is expensive. We tried it for 6 months, and it paid itself back, which was great, but it was still a high ticket item.
It was.
And when the residential side really started to get traction, kind of 23 was a good year for resi, 24 was a great year for resi, 25 is just bananas. Jason came up with the idea. He was like, well, hey, look, we're doing a great job for these guys. They are planted right in the middle of those communities that really we want to advertise to. If they're happy with what we've done, let's just encourage them to talk about it. Whether it's posting on, the WhatsApp group chats, on the Facebook, community pages that we aren't allowed to advertise on because we'll get blacklisted or blocked. And so we floated the idea with a lady in Abu Dhabi, first of all. And then I think it was another lady in the Arabian ranches. I think it was the ranches. And the budget that we were planning to spend with the big developers, we segregated that. We were like, right, okay, well, what we'll do is we will incentivize based on conversion the people that we've already done a great job for, because who's the best salesperson is someone that's been through the experience and had a great outcome. And that's working tremendously well. We've only got 3 community champions. To be fair, we only started 2 months ago. We've only got 3 community champions. But every opportunity that we get through from the community champions, it is what you would define as a hot lead, because it has come from someone. That client has seen the space. They're like, wow, your kitchen's amazing, or wow, your living room's fantastic, well, your pool, whatever it is. Who did this? It's like, oh, well, funny story. And then they introduce us. We then go and see them, and it generally tends to be an easier, quicker close, because you don't have to sell. The work you did first time round has already done the sell, and the person who went through the process first time round has already put in a good word. So it's much easier. The plan for 2026 is to convert more of our residential clients into community champions. Not everybody wants to bang the drum and say, hey, come and see my villa, or my apartment. But
Firstly, there's some that really do.
there's a lot that really do, and it's, it's great for us. And, they just so happen to be really, really nice people, very, very well integrated within their communities. And they are in a position where their opinion and their voice has an effect,
Yeah.
So for us, the community champions is fantastic. So if there's anybody out there that seems somewhat integrated or baked into communities that wants to get involved, we got to renovate your house first. So at least you got something to show. But yeah, we would love to have you on board.
Well, for sure. And I think that this was also, that was something we started out with. But even if you've had interactions with Contractors Direct and understand the ethos and the way that we operate, whilst it's an ideal client, if we've got a client to do that, it's not limited to clients, to be honest, from the community champion side of things. It's anyone who is happy to talk about what has happened, even if they didn't use one of our contractors, for example. If they went through a certain process, they might have used us on their commercial build, had one of our project managers running things. It's that ability to say, you know what, I have experienced something around this brand. And it's not just that you'll get the best experience out of this, you're also getting that peace of mind.
Yeah.
That you don't have to worry about the cowboys turning up and saying they'll turn up and not turning up, or turning up and, destroying your house. And then you're stood there thinking, how has this happened? I'm sure, and even, I think we've touched on this on other podcast episodes. I had an untrained eye looking at it thinking, that really doesn't look safe, or that doesn't look right from that side of things, is to try and provide that. And also that it's, from our side, there's compensation. From our side, that we're asking people to do this, but we'll also compensate people who are willing to be our community champions. There's something in it for the person that is referring. There's something in it for the person that is referred.
Yeah.
There's financial gain, or again, if people would prefer not to have that, we also have the ability to pick a charity.
Yeah.
Wherever you would like those funds to go, we'll put it through to that side of things. It's just to try and encourage that community engagement, safeguard those communities that are out there, and help more people have less of a headache when it comes to their renovations.
Yeah. And it is a minefield.
It is. And I think that's, again, the common thread under everything, is that how do you know? When it comes to these kind of things, because these are not small investments that we're talking about when it comes to renovation fit outs, usually significant amount of money. You want to feel like you're making the right decision. Which is why we exist as Contractors Direct, is why we put a lot of time and effort into building our network. So again, when you come to us as a platform, we can direct you to those people that can help you. We know they will, and they'll do it to a certain standard.
So one of the success stories that came out of a client from Exclusive Links, they encouraged one of their landlords to do the renovation. And I don't know the exact percentage, but they didn't spend more than 600 grand on the refurb, and it actually added about 40% to the sale price, and it sold within days.
Amazing.
So it's that is testament itself to build a ready product to move in. Someone is going to pay that premium.
Yeah.
And another classic example, do you remember, so Holo recommended us to a client of theirs that was buying a property, and they were a little bit concerned because it was a very run-down, tired property. We went to see it. We did the inspection. The client ended up purchasing the property. I think they put in around about 800,000 dirhams on the inside and the outside. But from the money that they had invested between the purchase price and the investment versus the new valuation, that was about 25 to 30% uplift.
Yeah.
Like, these are significant margins for not a lot of hassle. You just need to find somewhere to live for 3 to 4 months while we do the refurb.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about residential, but even when you look at the commercial side of things, we still offer a tremendous amount of value from the commercial side of things, and often it moves quicker. I mean, if you look at the partnership that we've got with CreativeZone, So CreativeZone basically took clients right the way through the entire setup journey. And until we signed a partnership, would almost, leave them at the lease signing stage. Now that we partnered together, they have a genuine end-to-end, right the way from first phone call, I need a trade license, to holy smokes, I'm cutting the ribbon, I'm moving into my first office. And obviously the cool thing about the deal with CreativeZone is all of the CreativeZone clients get a 1% cashback on the renovation, which, hot tip, if you're going to be renewing your trade license or you're setting up a company, go through CreativeZone, take a contractor through Contractors Direct, and the 1% cashback will probably cover the cost of your trade license and your setup. Food for thought.
Thanks for tuning in on this episode. Don't forget to follow us wherever you're listening to this, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Arrivederci.